Welcome back to session number 3 of Winning in the Workplace here at our management level. This session, we're primarily going to be focusing in on time, okay? How are we going to manage our time? I love this phrase right here, this quote by Peter Drucker, that, man, until you can manage time, you can manage nothing. So this is something I find out so often as I'm traveling around and talking with managers and as I'm working with my clients. I'm finding that people are going, oh, Clay, I just didn't have time to do my homework. I didn't have time to do that. I didn't have time to do this. If we're not careful, we can continue to run around taking care of everything and not scheduling and blocking our time to make sure that we are focused on the right things. So once again, right now we are on the management level, okay? We're no longer down here in the worker level, all right? The worker level, these guys are firemen and women, okay? But these are the fire people. They are constantly running around putting out fires. But as we move up into the management position, this is where we need to be more of a fire chief, okay? And making sure that we are organizing. But if we're not careful, again, this is the primary thing that I see over and over, is that we have people in management that are still in this mindset of, if you want it done right, you got to do it yourself, okay? Again, we need that mindset. But if we have that as a manager, it can really be dangerous for us because we're the ones that end up doing everything. Well, you're not doing it right, get out of the way, let me do it. Well, you're not doing it fast enough, get out of the way, let me do it. You know, it's just better if I do it. It's just faster if I do it. I can do it better than you. No one can really do it like me, so I'm just going to go ahead and do it. I get it. I've been there before. But if we're not careful as managers, if we stay trapped in this worker mindset, the responsibilities that we have will continue to grow. But because of our limited mindset, we'll just get busier and busier and busier and not feel like we are moving forward. Our life can eventually, you probably don't understand this at all, but you've heard of people, things can get a little chaotic. Things can get a little cray-cray, all right? So we want to make sure that we expand our mindset as our responsibilities expand. This is very important. So once again, managing yourself begins with learning how to manage your time. The first person that you need to learn how to lead is yourself. So how are we going to do that? Very first steps is to begin to manage your time. So let's see here. Taking a look at some of the notes. You can profoundly improve your company or department if you absolutely commit to spending 1 hour a week working on your business and not just in your business. So I want to throw something out really quick because we've done this before where we've talked about the CEO level of responsibility, and then below the CEO we have the senior manager responsibility, and below that we have the mid-manager responsibility, and below there we have the worker responsibility. Now it's very common, especially with clients that I work with across the country, that I find that there are CEOs and senior managers that are working in all of these levels. Yes, they're the CEO. Yes, they're a senior manager, but they are also required to do specific work for clients where they have to produce an outcome specifically for clients. So they're kind of all over the board. I get it, okay? We just have to make sure that we block out time to do each of these levels of responsibility, or else I promise what will happen, okay? If we aren't specific on this thing, then what will happen is each day, everything will distill down to the least common denominator, and we will work. We'll just get caught up in the work. We'll just get caught up in doing all the stuff. We don't really have time to get our head up and look out into the future because we're taking care of what's right in front of us today. You guys, I've been in that spot. I know what that feels like. When you're looking over 40 different people on staff and you're looking over 120 acres that you're managing, you're looking at 25 different facilities and you got 20 horses to keep alive. I've been in that place before, in a position that I had where I was the executive director of a summer camp. All right, and I had all these employees. I had all of these buildings that I had to be over, all of this land that I had to be over, and again, don't forget those 20 horses that we had to keep alive. And unfortunately, I was the one as the CEO, but I was also fulfilling each of these. And I would every day just get trapped here. Made it very, very difficult to feel like we were moving forward and getting things done. So we've got to be able to block this time. I've got a client over in Oklahoma City. I was asking them, okay, so how often do you guys get together? He's a senior manager. Said, how often do you guys get together with other senior managers and the CEO and have that meeting each week to plan and to organize and to look forward at what's going on? It's Clay, we never do that. It's like, we've got to get together and have those times together, 1 hour a week where we are working on our business, or else we will always get trapped day after day working in our business. Guys, that is key for us. The key is pig-headed determination to constantly address and readdress the process of improving your management systems. Because again, it's not just having the management systems in some kind of a book, all right? The operations manual, that's beautiful. But unless we implement each of those steps, unless we implement our systems, they're not going to do us any good. And that's where this person, this mid-manager comes in. If they are responsible for making sure that workers on a daily basis are following the systems, are staying up to standard. There's a measurement and evaluation that's going each day on the workers. But the problem is that most managers don't know how to identify and adapt the best ideas in their business into implement an implementation strategy. Why? Because they're overwhelmed with the work. Okay? I get it. I understand it. I've been here before. But if we're not careful, we can get promoted to a manager level, but we still have this mindset of, I'm really the only one that can do it. So we want to be careful as we move into this management level. Remember the cores of management? It's got to be consistent. It's got to be organized. It's got to be repeatable. Okay? We've got to get these things repeatable so that we can do them over and over and over and make sure they are the same way. This is why we put together systems. What I hear all the time is just, Clay, I'm just too busy. Clay, I'm too busy. Clay, I'm too busy. You guys, if you're too busy, I promise you, those are all indications. It's all fingerprints. It's like evidence that's left after the scene of the crime that you got a worker mentality going on, okay? So what I want to talk about today, primarily that we're going to hone in on, is your time management. I want to talk about a tool that I use called the daily steering wheel. I want to give you the steps of the daily steering wheel so you can keep your hands on the wheel. I actually had Lee Cockrell. I don't know if you if you know who Lee Cockrell is. He actually ran Disney World for I think 13 years. And man, he just came out with a book not too long ago called Time Management Magic. I'm a business partner with Lee. Also, I've met him. I'm a friend of his. We had a chance to talk a couple years ago. And I said, hey, Lee, take a look at this daily steering wheel that I've got. What do you think about this? And he goes, Clay, after he got through looking at it, he goes, Clay, this is good. I like it. And I went, hey, Lee, can I quote you on that? This is good. I like it. From Lee Cockrell, who ran Disney World. So just so you know, Lee said that. It's not just me saying this is a good thing, but it's Lee Cockrell who ran Disney World that's saying this is a good tool to help you organize your time. Now again, I understand that some people are saying, Clay, I just can't organize my time, but people won't let me. Well, that is a bigger issue in your company. If you are a manager and you are completely out of control of your time, that's a bigger issue. I'm talking here about beginning to organize your time, structure your time so you can get done what needs to get done in your position as a manager. So to begin with, what I want to do here is we're talking about kind of our management core, or the core values of management. So as managers, we have our core, we're going to call this core functions as a manager. We need to be able to manage our time. We also need to be able to manage a specific training process that we do on a consistent basis, and we need to know how to manage meetings. These are some core things when we start talking about management. How can I become a better manager? We need to talk about time, training, meetings. I'm going to throw in one more here, which is very important, is we have to be able to manage work, okay? Work getting done, manage goals, manage expectations. Not only your work, but other people's work, because now you're a manager. When you were a worker, you were just focused on your job, on what you had to do today. But now you're a manager, so now you have to be thinking, or if you want to be a manager, if you're in this team builder spot, you're wanting to continue to move up, now you're in a spot where you have to oversee other people's work. And it could be a lot of other people doing a lot of other work, all right? And so how are we going to do that? Again, you've got to increase your mindset, the way that you look at these things. So let's, to begin with, we must set things up in order to maximize everybody's time. Again, if we're not careful, we'll just be running around all the time. So how do we do this? Once again, we organize time, we organize the training, we organize the meetings, and we organize the work. It's very important steps as we're moving forward here. Let's see here. So let's take a look. I've got 5 time management secrets that I want to go over today. These are secrets of the billionaires, what they do to help manage their time on a daily basis. So here we go. Over here, number 1, the first thing that we are doing, the first secret that we want to keep in control here is no more than 6 reports. Now what this means is underneath you, there's no more than 6 people reporting to you. Again, I've made this mistake of there's me up here at the top, okay? And then there's everybody. And everyone is reporting to me. And so, it's just constantly all day long. Hey, Clay, you got a minute? Hey, Clay, you got a minute? Hey, Clay, I got this. Clay, can you look at this? Clay, I've got a question. Clay, my feelings got hurt. Clay, will you talk to that person? Because there was no buffer, everyone was coming to me. You just can't manage that. So we want to make sure that there are no more than 6 reports directly to us. So if you've got 10, 20, 30, 50, 100 employees underneath you, people that you're in charge of, then you need to make sure that you begin to set up managers over each of these groups, or else it'll just run you slick. So you need to be careful to do that. So no more than 6. This all comes from a guy named Chet Holmes, okay? He wrote the Ultimate Sales Machine. It's a book you may want to check into. This is, I think, out of chapter 2 out of that book, either chapter 2 or chapter 3 out of that book, where he talks about time management secrets.